Give me all you got!
Well, you know, for me, the action is the juice.
And I'll do it.
You do it live.
Play out. What does that mean? Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is
Good
another
morning.
edition of Gonna See My Friends, the podcast where we just chill, watch movies, talk about our old favorite movies. As always, I'm here with my cohort, Tobias Maximus, aka Toby Ballinger. What's going on, Toby?
Hi, buddy. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, everybody out there in the podcast lands.
Let me turn you up. Okay, here we go.
Oh no, am I too far down?
No. You're good. You're perfect.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us this week. This week we got a good one. It's a classic. We just did one of his movies in our kind of October Halloween fest, which was The Howling.
Yeah.
Joe Dante. And of course, we're talking about the 1984 Steven Spielberg produced, Joe Dante directed classic Gremlins.
Yes.
Let's give it up.
How about that?
So this one was a classic. I remember seeing this in the theaters. But before I jump into my experience with it, what was yours? I want to hear your journey with this movie, or what it means to you.
Yeah, well, this is one of those dates. This comes out on June 8th, 1984, the same day that Ghostbusters came out, and kind of widely seen as one of the big double features of the modern era at the time. Like, they're the two of the four highest grossing movies of 1984. Of the year. And so we saw them both in the theater. I saw Ghostbusters first, and then Gremlins, because these were must see. You have to go see this in the theater. I mean, it was wild. It was really they were really the merch that went along with it, and it was everywhere.
Oh yeah, look at this. This is the top 10 movies of '84. Okay,
Shoot. Yep.
We got Beverly Hills Cop, which is number one. I'm going to do these in order, I guess. Ghostbusters, Temple of Doom, Gremlins. But then you got fucking Karate Kid.
Right.
Police Academy, Footloose, Romancing the Stone, Star Trek 3, and Splash. Now, I saw all those movies in the theaters. It's incredible that... this is like the heyday of Amblin Entertainment, Spielberg's production company. He's involved with Back to the Future. He's involved with this, Temple of Doom. This is kind of one of those movies, again, that defined your childhood because, like you said, it was everywhere. Movies tended to be like that. It was a big event. You went and saw it. Maybe you had teams. Oh, I'm more Beverly Hills Cop, or I'm more Ghost, but whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you had all these choices. It was like the heyday. If you want to talk about 80s movies and you're trying to describe to somebody what's the essence of an 80s movie, well, this is one of them. You could point to this movie, you could point to a lot of other movies. It just filled the zeitgeist with just like you said, dolls, comics, cartoons. That was just part of the rollout. But in that, there's some controversy.
Yes.
Because of the darkness of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you right now, do you consider this a kid's movie or Christmas movie or a horror movie? A mix of those, I suppose.
Right. I think I saw it as a silly movie.
Yeah.
It is all of those things, but I've never in my mind pigeonholed this into a particular, how would I rank it? I don't think it was really seen as a Christmas movie because it came out in the middle of summer. Right. So you don't make that connection as a kid, considering that we're watching this in June of 1984 and we have that summer to see any one of those movies.
Yeah.
You had to go, you went to the movie theater on a Saturday or a Sunday during the summer of 1984. And so with this, was it's, how old am I? 11, 12 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old at the time.
I'm 10. So you're probably 11 or 12.
So I would, not into the dolls. the doll aspect of it because they sold the Gizmo doll and they sold the striped doll, and but there were other merch type things. I think we were more, it was like there's like body horror in this, but I think with my circle of friends, we were like Gremlins in the microwave and Gremlins in the blender. There was a lot of that talk during that summer, right? It was a lot of
Yeah.
that. We were just trying to gross each other out more than anything else. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in kind of a weird place where if I'm 11 years old, I don't know if I'm really I don't see myself so much as a kid, but yeah. What about you? What are you looking at this as? It doesn't really seem like a kids movie watching it
Yeah. I mean,
now.
it was marketed. I remember, but I mean, it depends. I mean, whoops. It depends. When I was 10, I didn't think of things as though as like a horror comedy mix. It was just silly, like you said. It was just kind of like a silly movie, but it was
Hmm.
fun. It was great because in those times, like when I did see Beverly Hills Cop in the theaters, I always considered that like a grown up movie that was a comedy. And so, but I got a lot of the jokes because I was a big Eddie Murphy fan, so I kind of got his shtick.
Right.
Um, but like, and Ghostbusters was the same. So it was this for me. It was just this mix of like fantasy of like, well, I have a quote from let me pull up a quote from Joe Dante himself because it kind of encompasses what we're talking about. And he says, "What I like to see in movies are movies that can do things that you can't do in real life and show you things that you can't see by walking out in the street. And there've been a lot of great movies that show you real life as it's lived and should be lived. But my favorite kind of movies are the ones that show you things that you can't see anywhere but in the movies. And in this
Mm,
picture, believe me, you will not see this stuff except in the movies, which as a kid, like that was the whole point of watching all these like Back to the Future and even the Howling. And if you go back to that, this is
hmm.
just stuff that you can, but as a kid, you're this is like yes, and it isn't until you get older that you start to be critical and start to be like, oh, I don't believe that, or oh, that wouldn't happen. But yeah, it was just again one of those things where these movies come out and you just are like, you're just eating it all up, or at least I was. I was going to the movies all the time in '84. That was just
Hmm.
us. Oh, '84 to '86, especially for me, was just banner years for movies. So
Right, right.
yeah.
That's interesting the way you put that about how you're just eating all this up because that's a really interesting quote. He's also got the watching it again as an adult, and I saw this, I didn't really see it at the time with The Howling, and I didn't see it at the time with Gremlins, but what is it that he's trying to say here? This is really ridiculous. There's a lot of ridiculous stuff, and yeah, you're not going to see this anywhere else, but there's underlying themes throughout
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
that don't really
Absolutely.
beat you over the head as a kid, but now going back and watching it, I'm like, oh boy, the themes that run through this are, and we're going to get into it, but
Yeah.
the stuff that's on the TV in the background in a couple of different scenes didn't really stick out to me at the time, and now I'm like, oh, that's really interesting choice that he
Yeah.
would put that there. And yeah, there's a kind of a lot going on, and it's really subtle,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh, well, it was along with all that subtlety too, this was one of the films that helped usher in the PG-13 rating too as well. So, it was this and Temple of Doom, and it was kind of this mix, and then both Spielberg is involved in both of them. So, he
Right.
has a healthy say into how maybe to change things, but yeah, even Temple of Doom was coming off of Raiders. You have this fun adventure that's kind of family friendly for the most
Hmm.
part. There's a couple
Hmm.
gruesome scenes, but then you get to Temple of Doom and you get hearts being ripped out and you get people eating brains and all this kind of weird
Right.
stuff. And, and audiences were like, well, wait, this is Indiana Jones. This is for, all of us. And so I think he was just like, you know what, you should change it to PG-13, which is now what every film aspires to be. They want to fall into that PG-13, which kind of I don't know, what's your opinion on it? Like PG-13, like
Hmm.
what do you think its effect on the movie? I mean, cuz now I kind of want to see our films and those are just
Yeah.
regulated more to TV or
Right.
Netflix and all this kind of other things and you know but you kind of miss the R rating sometimes, don't you? Or no? I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
Well, okay. Well, when it comes to trying to choose a horror movie to watch that we haven't watched, I'm on the Shudder app, and
Shout out to Shudder.
shout out Shudder. Yeah, that's great app for the month of October. You can watch hundreds and hundreds of.
This is not an ad, but yeah.
No, we should get an ad.
Yeah.
But by the way, this segment brought to you by the Moon, bringing you Ocean Tide since 1937. PG-13 for me. If we're gonna try to pick if we're gonna watch this movie or not, and we see it's a PG-13 movie, we'll probably opt to not watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not going to get us what Christina and I want. It's gonna only go, but that makes sense because there's a huge difference between a PG movie and an R movie. So you need something in between those two. So it was really smart. Then there was like NC-17. I don't think I've ever actually seen an NC-17 movie. They were like trying to bring all these.
Bad Lieutenant was the uncut version is NC-17. It should be X, but it's. Have you seen that movie, Bad Lieutenant? With Harvey Keitel? Yeah, that's a pretty brutal movie.
That's a lot.
I showed a scene to it to one of my coworkers when I worked in retail a couple years ago, and after I showed it to him, I was like, "Oh, this kind of makes me look."
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you watching, Steve? And I'm like, well, it's a great. I mean, it's a dark movie, but yeah, I showed him the scene where he pulls over the two kids, and I'm like,
okay.
I was like, look at how. In my defense, I was saying, look how brutal this movie is.
Yeah.
Because look at this scene, and I think he took it as like, what are you watching, dude? And I was like, point taken. All right, let's just keep going. But yeah, I mean, I think our movies nowadays are kind of they're you have to watch them at home or you have to watch them in streaming or something because I don't know. I mean, again going back to this era of movies, it's like this was the 80s, mid 80s, and you're kind of seeing this kind of shift in the the audience of like, well, we're open to those kind of things as long as it's don't betray us, don't like, which I think this movie kind of teased that sentiment of like, here, we'll show you something cute, but at the same time, here's all this dark stuff that's going on behind it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what Joe Dante's MO is anyways, is to make these mix of like horror and comedy, which is initially what he wanted to do with The Howling, but obviously it freaked me out. So it freaked out a lot of people, but that was the commentary on media. And so I think that he kind of carries it on with this one as well, especially part 2 is kind of the calling card for that kind of sentiment. But yeah,
Gremlins
you were talking
2?
About
the
go
new
ahead,
batch. The second one.
I haven't seen that much.
No, I don't recall seeing Gremlins 2. I probably have at some point. I don't have any memory of seeing it.
Yeah.
But they were just, it's so crazy that they were just allowed to do whatever they want. I saw a quick interview with him, and I forget what concessions that they were going to make, but this movie was such a blockbuster hit that the studios were like, you got to make a sequel. Come on, you got to give us more.
Yeah.
So this one had like an idea, and like Chris Columbus really wrote a really good screenplay that's funny and poignant at the time, and he was just allowed to do whatever the hell he wanted to in Gremlins 2, is my understanding.
Oh yeah,
the new
well that was part of the that was part of the stipulation was that they wanted him. He didn't want to do a sequel, and he was like, all right, I'll do it. Thinking that they were going to say no, but he's like, I do it, but I want total creative control. And they were like, okay. He's like, oh shit, okay, well. And then they spent some time. I don't really have the deep dive on that movie yet, but yeah, it was kind of his take on his satirizing the is that a word? Satirizing? Whatever. Satirizing. There you go. Thank you. Of kind of the media and the home entertainment kind of thing. What you would consider now like what TMZ or something like that, some shit like that. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I mean, anyways, getting off track here.
I think it's interesting before we get into it. I think that's interesting that he says, well, I'll do it, but I get full control, and they're all, yeah. They're falling for exactly what the whole point of Gremlins is. Just just gimme.
Yeah. And what popped into my head while I was watching it this week was pluribus for some reason. I know we'll talk about that at another time, but it's this idea of kind of showing the corporateness between Carol and this dude from Argentina, or is that where he's from? I can't remember.
No, it was on the license plate in last
Peru.
night's. No, God.
Yeah, I forget. But anyways, my point being is that it's showing these kind of two sides. It's really showing kind of American consumerism. Like Carol is very, very American in that way of that they want this independence and freedom, but at the same time, when it's given to them, they're just like, okay, well, what do I do
this
now?
I want it cold, and it's just door dashing everything. I need it now. I'm mad if it's not here immediately. I want to talk to the manager. And then you got the flip side of that coin. I'm not going to do any of this, and I'm going to go out into the jungle, get myself maybe killed, and then
well, and so you see some of that in this movie, or at least I do, and I think that's probably what you're referring to in terms of one of the themes that kind of run through this movie of consumerism and kind of what we choose to consume and how we do it. But I think Spielberg this is in the height of his powers. I think this is kind of the mid 80s in general were just his thing. I mean, the amount of influence he probably has in Hollywood is just
unlimited, right? I mean, the themes that Spielberg's able. I mean, and I didn't really realize how involved Spielberg was in Gremlins. We know him from several movies before that were all blockbusters.
Jaws. Close Encounters.
Jaws, Close Encounters. Thank you. Yeah, E.T. So he can, if he's going to executive produce your project, everyone's going to listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve says it's good. Let's go ahead and do it. And he can shine a light back at the bosses, the big bosses, the mucky mucks, and shine that camera right at them without them even realizing it. He is talking about you.
And I think that in the 80s, it wasn't that hidden, really. I mean, it was, but you kind of got that feeling anyways, because the 80s were just such this decade, especially in Hollywood, of decadence.
Oh my God, it's really Reaganomics. Doon. You had to buy, gimme. When you came back to school at the end of summer in 1984. Which lunchbox did you have? Did you have the Ghostbusters lunchbox? Did you have the Gremlins lunchbox? Did you? I mean, it was consumer. Just buy. You had the Summer Olympics in LA that summer, and everybody's wearing Olympic merch and this and that. I mean, it was woo-wee. Just spend.
Yeah, parents had a lot of buying power back in the 80s, man, and they did not disappoint. Or at least, my family. There was a lot of like Star Wars toys, like the bigger ones, the Millennium Falcon, the Death Star. You could kind of get those things. I mean, it was expensive, but it was still relatively easily accessible, and this decade is just, I mean, when I think back to it, and I think where I was talking to you, maybe I was talking to Scott, but this ability to live through that time and to say, when everybody talks about like, well, these movies really shaped an entire kind of decade. And you're like, yeah, I was in that. And I remember the volume of everything. Everything just seemed to be everywhere all the time. There wasn't, and we talked about it on an earlier pod, which was, these movies stayed in the theater. If you were a hit, 6 months, a year. There was, I can't remember what I was watching the other day on YouTube, but it was a movie. It was an 80s movie. I forget, maybe it was Back to the Future, but they ran this newspaper advertisement, and it was just the big picture, and it had a cake, and it said, "Congratulations on 1 year in the theaters." I was thinking, wow, that was just such a different time. And it was great because, again, you can see all these movies. I remember Footloose being the same way. That Footloose and that soundtrack was everywhere when I was 10 years old. And it was just, it felt like Christmas all the time in terms of the volume of stuff, in terms of like, well, what can we go do? Well, we can go out to eat and then we can go see Beverly Hills Cop for the 5th time and have a good time, or, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But that movies now, I mean, compared to movies nowadays, which is, you have the streaming services, you have the Netflix buying Paramount and Warner Brothers. I can't remember which one it was.
Warner Brothers. Yep.
Yeah.
God willing, they buy it. I mean, out of the two that are going to compete for it, that are apparently competing for it, I mean, it's a lose-lose for us either way because they're consolidating way too much, in my opinion. We're going down a really dangerous path here with all these. We're going to have one person in charge of all the media here pretty soon if we're not careful. But here's the thing that talking about consumerism, and this is just something that is part of like my DNA. My mom she told this story on Thanksgiving. How when I was, at this time, at 10, 11, 12 years old, we'd be watching one of the programs on the 3 channels that we had at the time. And we'd be, and we'd be, the parents sitting on the couch, Troy and I sitting on the floor playing with whatever Legos, whatever toys, And during the television show, the 10-minute block of the show, we'd be kind of like half watching and half. But then when the commercial break would come on, I was locked in. Because you have like a 30-second TV show, and it's half of that stuff was for us anyway. It was the Teddy Ruxpin or the G.I. Joe Patch. Or a Cabbage Patch, and then there were other things for the parents, and then or you would have movie trailers. You would have a lot of movie. You'd get see 30 seconds of the movie. And so as soon as the show would come back on, I would go back to doing what I was in. I was like, he was always more interested in the commercials, in the advertising. You should have been in advertising. And I'm like, I don't know if it's the advertising side of it. It's just that I have such a short attention span, and my ADD at the time that went, I'm sure, undiagnosed because I went, oh, I can give you 30 seconds. But after that, I'm kind of, okay, where were we? Oh yeah, consumerism just boom, boom, boom. And did you see the commercial for the new toy? Did you? This thing. Oh, that's for babies. There's listen, yes.
Yeah, I mean that was the time, and that was, I'm trying to impress upon people listening. It's like, or people that prior our age remember that time as this time of like, you got up and you went to see a movie and it was funny and it was big and it was like everybody was laughing at all the right parts and it was just a great time to be a movie lover because you just had all these options and it was just great. It's just fun.
Yeah, agree.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. I'm gonna get my notes out here and kind of jump into the nuts and bolts here. Like you said, this came out in June 8th of 1984. And it had an $11 million budget. Brings in, after its run, it brings in $148 million in money. Capital, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's US. That's US, right? Just in the United States.
Yeah, US. Funny tidbit. So Zach Gallagher Zach Gallagher? Galligan, that's what it is. Kind of scores the role opposite of Phoebe Cates, but Tom Hanks was auditioned. Kevin Bacon, Ralph Macchio, Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, and Judd Nelson, our boy Judd.
Yeah.
Auditions for this. Howie Mandel does the Mogwai voice. Frank Welker, who's a well-known voice actor, did Stripe. And the score was by Jerry Goldsmith, which is a great score. As soon as it plays, you know what movie this is. This is probably one of his best, I feel like, in terms of, I'm not that good with the composers and the scores. I know the highlights. I know the Old Man Brain. The guy that does Predator and Back to the Future, Alan Silvestri, that's it. So yeah, Jerry Goldsmith does this one. This helped lead to the creation of PG-13. We already kind of talked about that. But yeah, it's considered, I don't know, would you consider this a classic? Would you consider it a classic?
Oh yeah, this was a necessary, we needed this. We really did. This is still in the zeitgeist. The Gremlins in the microwave, the Gremlins in the blender. That's still a term that's used, and when it comes on, you're all, oh, right.
Well, it's one of those.
Mom wipes out the. I mean, she makes quick work of these 3 green ones that are in the kitchen. Like she grabs a knife and immediately. Mom, who's played by, and I knew she looked familiar. Mom, where's her name here? Frances Lee McCain. She plays Lynn Peltzer, Billy's mom. She was Marty McFly's grandmother in the 1955 scenes when now quit fooling with that thing and come eat your dinner. Now, Marty, how long are you in port? She's great in this, and I was like, she's very recognizable. And Back to the Future, of course, is being filmed in the same lot. This is all on Universal Studios backlot, and I mean, there's certain things where you see when they run out of the theater as it's on fire, you can see that's been on fire before. Marty crashed the DeLorean into it with the tire marks going. I'm like, it really jumps out at you. I love that. I don't know if you've ever been to the Universal backlot. Have you had that tour and gone around the square?
It's been at least it's been at least 20 years, 25 years since I've been there to see that. But
you haven't been there in the last couple of weeks?
Usually I fly down to go to Disneyland for a couple of days, but she was also in Footloose. I mean, she had a great year this year. Yeah, she was the mom in Footloose as well. And
she is great. Sorry. She is one of the people that can act in this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Definitely. Yeah, I swallowed wrong. It just went down.
She brings a lot. She brings a lot of truth to this because, and not that you needed to have brilliant acting. I think the practical effects, the animatronics, steal the show, and hilarious. I was telling you when we were decorating the tree, I was putting this was me. I was putting an ornament on and watching. I'm laughing out loud. When all hell breaks loose about halfway through and all the stripes start running amok, hysterical still to this day. I was dying.
Yeah. Well, there was a darker version of the script. Have you heard about this?
No, there's a lot of dark stuff going on, just comically going on.
Well, originally she was supposed to be beheaded, and then when Billy comes home, the gremlin throws her head down the stairs and rolls down.
Oh my God.
And then let's see, there were some other dark bits. Let's see.
The the gremlin exploding in the microwave is not dark enough for you,
or not dark enough. We need more.
Yeah, right. Howie Mandel is Gizmo, which it makes so much sense, and I don't think I really realized that at the time. But once you realize it's him, you're like, "Oh, he's Gizmo."
Yeah. You can kind of tap.
Oh yeah, he used to do that voice in other things
Bobby,
too.
Little Bobby or something.
It's Bobby. That's the voice. Yeah. That's right.
Good call. Yeah, I guess that's the only one. His original version of the Gremlins had the Gremlins, they killed the dog instead of just hanging it out. And then another scene was cutting off the mom's head and tossing it down the stairs.
Jesus.
And these were never shot due to the fact that Joe Dante and Warner Brothers wanted the movie to be more family friendly. So that's a good. Yeah, I mean,
good move.
That's a good choice. Good choice.
Well, I mean, that makes it a kids movie, and I think that's how you're going to get people to come in. And so you said the budget was $11 million. It made $12 million the opening weekend. You made all your money back in 2 days.
Yeah,
and it's because kids wanted to go see it. If you're cutting moms' heads off and killing dogs, kids aren't going to want to see that. Yeah, just don't let me see you shoot no dogs.
Yeah, so it was great genre blender of a movie, Christmas movie, like we said, a creature feature, blender, a horror comedy, and a satire of a small town America, really. When it opens up and it says Gremlins, the title shot from the up above looking down into the square, it's very picturesque. I mean, that's what I noticed. I didn't notice that before. I just noticed that now in this last viewing, which this picture perfect postcard of this small town, and everybody knows everybody. Hey, how about giving us a tree for the office? Hey, I paid for my, just these petty little differences kind of sets up the small town vibe. And it was there seems to be this idea that this movie was the movie that kind of broke the safe Spielberg movie, if you will.
Oh,
But I disagree. I think it's Indiana Jones. I think it came out before this. Or no, wait, did it come out before or after? Maybe it was the same year. Actually, it was the same year. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I would say this was the year, not movie, but this was probably the year that you couldn't trust Spielberg. And I say that lightly. I'm not saying that I don't ever trust him, but
damn.
it's that whole thing of like, well, it's a safe movie. It's
yeah.
Close Encounters.
Yeah. Jaws.
Jaws. I mean, Jaws was kind of horrible, but after that, he just kind of set sail. And that after this, he wanted to be a little more edgy, not edgy, but a little more experimental. He wanted to explore darker themes, and I think he's good at it as well. There is a PG element to his stuff, which isn't really like compared to like Michael Mann or even Scorsese, his contemporary. It's like he's still relatively tame in the sense of he's not going to up until that movie about the internment camps. And like I don't really want to talk about that one.
Oh,
but
God.
Yeah. What was that movie called? Old Man Brain.
Schindler's List.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
So I think
what they were really more worried about during the 80s for as far as ratings go are you dropping F-bombs?
Right.
Are you if ladies are taking their tops off, it's got to be R. If you're dropping F-bombs, it's got to be R. Or you're only allowed one. I forget what the rules were. Yeah, you get one and you got to use it right. And if you want to use more, now you were saying, talking about how it works on TV. Now we don't have those, and I don't know what any of them really mean, but you have MA for mature, and I don't know if that's supposed to mean
that's
R.
right. Yeah.
Is this supposed to warn me about somebody who has no children? I'm going to watch whatever's on TV and I don't give a F. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say it. I don't give a flarn, a filth and flarn. So take that. Okay. Take that, guy. But, but you'll watch TV shows and there's people on talk in pluribus. Mm-hmm. Somebody dropped an F-bomb in pluribus. And I was like, I don't think there were a lot of F-bombs in Breaking Bad. There wasn't any, I bring up Breaking Bad because of, Vince Gilligan, but now we're watching shows and I'm like, this is just on TV, right? Like we're just saying, we can just say, fuck it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't know how the rules work anymore.
You remember NYPD Blue, but that came out in the 90s? That was
somebody showed his butt,
but I think they dropped like a shit or I don't know, bitch or something. I don't know what it was, but I remember it being groundbreaking because it was so different.
Oh, it was pro-flushing time, dude. I remember that. It was like, I don't know.
But then you watch,
we can do this.
Yeah, but then you watch like The Walking Dead, compare that to Falling Skies, which is Falling Skies. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't think I ever watched Falling Skies.
It was Noah Weil from ER.
Yeah,
he starred in it, and it was about this alien invasion. And so the Earth is the humans on Earth are kind of these
stupid?
Kind of rebels. Yeah, rebels. But it came out around the same time as Walking Dead, and I was big into Walking Dead when in 2010, 11.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, Walking Dead is what happens when shit breaks down, right? Like you got to kill, there's the guts or whatever, how violent it was.
Yeah.
And then you go to Falling Skies, which is on TNT, and it's Spielberg produced, and he's on the set a lot. And it's, it's a lot of, it's the PG version of Walking Dead. That's what I used to say at the time, because they're both about the end of like life as we know it, but yet one is still not showing the extent to which people will go to in these situations, whereas Walking Dead is just like, they're shooting and killing everybody anyways. So
kids are
that's
dying.
So that's what I think TV is now, is that where movies used to be, which was in TV, you had this sanitized kind of version of life and, wrapped up at the end and all this. And then you went to the movies to see the more realistic portrayal of something, or the more violent version of something. And now I feel like it's changed, right? It's like you could see this kind of stuff at home And you go to the movies because it's like, well, these auteurs are still making movies, and so we're not going to show them on your TV screen. We're going to go out and see them. So now there's this thing of, how do we do this? And is TV now the streaming and TV now the thing? And I hope not. I hope we still can go to the theater and see great movies, but who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, we have changed almost by done a 180 on these things. That's a really good point. We've talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast, where we would just go in the morning, we'd go outside, and we might not come back until dinner time. So, and our parents just let us run amok throughout the town, just gone.
Right.
But they would make sure we never heard the F word. It's a weird kind of thing they were protecting us against. Now the kids can watch all the F-bombs and everything they want, but they're being tracked throughout town, and everybody knows where they are 24/7. We're doing a different type of protection, I think. It's so...
Yeah. Well, it's, back then we had 3 stations and 3 networks, and then we had maybe a radio station in our town or close to us that played the kind of music we liked, and that's all we needed. And and stuff didn't filter down to us as easily, like you just said. Now everybody has access to everything all the time, anytime they want it. And so now you're seeing the result of that, which is a lot of lost, maybe, whatever you're just seeing it in the times now. But back then, it was a lot to leave up to our imagination, because or at least for me, I remember going to the movies and being able to kind of see these stories that were being told that were so different from me growing up in Healdsburg and you in Forestville. It's like these small towns that had this kind of ruggedness and ruralness to it. And Hollywood was just this big, shiny, like bright thing. And it was so fun. And now that is all the time. Now that's everything. Now that is like, we're launching the iPhone, woo, or whatever it is. It's like, now it's everything. You open an envelope and, there's a band playing in your kitchen or something, whatever. I'm just kidding. But it's like this, it's this pomp and circumstance with everything. And it's kind of ruins it, so. Anyways.
Yeah, we're getting desensitized to it, and it didn't take very long. Just a scant 40 to completely change, like a complete sea change. 40 years of screen time. We're different. Well, we're a different society, completely different.
Well, that's what I was saying about the 80s, and saying and living through that period, because we're living through this period now of everything's digital, everything's on the phone. I mean, we remember when we had a house phone and that was it. And if you called and we weren't there, hey, so-and-so, when you get home, say so-and-so called. Okay, I'll call him back or whatever, but you just had more autonomy in terms of the connection to everything. Now you're connected to everything. And so now it's malls are not that. I saw this video on YouTube on the state of malls in America, and it's like, malls are the thing that's, I worked in a mall like 7 years ago, and there was no one there then. And I can't imagine working in one now. And I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, I didn't work the weekends, but it's like during the week in a mall at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, from 10 to like maybe 12:30, there's just no one in the mall. It's like, why are we even open? Just because it was just what came before, and they were still on that thing. So yeah, it's just a different time. Let's get back to this movie though.
Sure.
Because there's something I really want to address, which is the 3 rules and how the movie just takes utter delight in breaking these rules. This is how we get the movie, right?
Of course.
These are the things. So what's number 1? Don't get it wet, right? Don't get it. Keep it at number 2. Keep it out of bright light. Number 3, which is the most kind of argumentative point, which is never feed it after midnight. Which it's always midnight somewhere. I guess it's always 5 o'clock.
I know somewhere. That's a really. How would you enforce that? I guess they just know, but
I think when they cross a time zone, they're like, it's like we're like birds, we instinctually kind of know the borders and the seasons.
Oh, we know. We know what time it is.
But yeah, what is midnight? I guess that's one of the debates. These rules just exist to be broken, and once the chaos starts, the movie goes feral. It's really basically the breakdown of this movie. How would you make this in today's world with smartphones, with social media, with kids on iPads, with streaming algorithms, with all this kind of stuff we've been talking about? Can this be made now and be relatable as it was back then? Or how would you adapt it?
No, they never would have made it out of that shop in Chinatown. He would have been multiplying in 5 seconds. He would have said, "Okay, so you can't get it wet." And somebody would have gone, well, "We'll see about that," and just dump water on him immediately. No, we're not that. We're not. If we weren't that good back then, no chance. No chance.
We were better then.
The Gremlins would have taken over the earth by now within this weekend. Not a chance, dude. We don't really play by it. We hear what the rules are and we insist everybody else play by the rules, but we break it. We're just like, but that doesn't apply to me. That's the society that seems like we've created for ourselves. Well, surely you don't mean me. God. The idea that I think he's just called Grandpa, but the guy who runs the shop, who's played by
Old Man Fetterman.
Key Luke, who plays the grandfather with the milky eye. I think it's just so funny that Dad comes walking in Peltzer, who is some sort of gizmo. He makes gizmos, right? He's like trying to be the new Mr. Popeil. I got this thing. It's gonna peel your potatoes faster than a bathroom buddy. He's going like literally door to door hustling. He's hustling, man. God bless him. He's out there trying to make a buck, and he's a salesman, and he hustles, right? He's gone on Christmas Eve out hustling. And the first thing he does is he goes into that shop and he goes, "Well, you said you had everything, but what's this?" He goes, "I gotta have them. It's a Christmas present for my son." Within 2 seconds, he's obsessed with this thing.
Right.
And this is how quickly that we go into consumerism. And he's like, "Mogwai is not for sale." No, you don't understand. I gotta have it. And you're gonna sell them to me. How about $200? And the kids, like, so quickly, they're just like, no, it's too much responsibility. And the kids, I'll sell them to you. I'm like, too much responsibility? This thing can take over the earth. Like, would have to think that they would know what happens if you break these rules. And Dad's like, yeah, sure. That's right. The rules. You bet.
That's exactly what he does. He's like, yeah, fine. You know what? There's these rules, but let's not really worry about them too much. Don't get them wet, but yet most of the movie it has snow in it.
Thank you.
And they're walking through it.
Right. Wait, spilling beer all over themselves. Is that not getting wet? They're hiding in the snow. That's not getting
drinking.
Wet. Drinking. Right. It's great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of we're playing fast and loose with our own rules about halfway through this movie.
And that's what again, as it's for, that's why I feel like that's the element that's made for the children, is these scary monsters. Let's not worry about the rules per se, because we just wanted to you hear scary monsters, and this thing is happening, but don't look over here. Look over here.
It's best not to think about it that much.
Right. Exactly. Hey, kid. This ain't that kind of movie. If that's what they're thinking about, then we are in trouble. But so you have a little question for you. Gizmo versus Baby Yoda. Who do you got?
I'm gonna have to
What's
go
his
Baby
name?
Yoda, of course.
That's right. Oh, he has the Force.
Right. Grogu.
Yeah.
Because he can do stuff. Gizmo is cute. I'll give you this. In the animatronics, obviously is very cute. Gizmo is very smart. He's the kind of the alpha, I guess, because the rest of them come from him, and he knows not to break the rules himself. But all the betas and what would you call them? Like, they're not his offspring.
The red pillars, or we're talking about Gremlins.
Yeah.
Let's.
What red pillars?
Probably Gremlins. He's Stripe. His name is Stripe. He's Corey Feldman's like, oh, look, cute. Look at that one, has a little stripe. It's like, oh, these I think Gizmo comes across as really like the kind of Yoda-ish because he's probably lived a long time. He's probably I don't know how long he's lived, but he's lived long enough to know, oh yeah, I don't fuck with the rules myself. I know how to contain myself and my urges. You might want to say maybe he's a spiritual point of the movie, I guess. I don't know. That's a reach, but anyways. Why does this movie work? And we kind of talked about it already a little bit, but for the most part, is it the practical effects? Is it the physical comedy? Is it the cartoony-ish violence? It's kind of got a Looney Tunes energy, I would say.
Oh yeah,
in this,
there you hear some of the sound effects. I think you can kind of, there's the laughing. There's like a boo kind of little things that you might hear in a. Yes, there's a.
Yeah.
So you do have that kind of silliness to it. You have, well, it's not something I think is in steady rotation. I hadn't seen this in probably 20 years, but
yeah,
going back and watching it, it was enjoyable. It was fun to watch all the different. There's like 200 of these green ones after Stripe goes and jumps in the pool at the YMCA.
Oh, yeah.
He's running from Billy and he jumps in the pool and the thing starts erupting and Billy goes, okay, we got to get out of here now. Okay, now we done fucked up. We got to get out of here. And he takes off and then they take over the town. And then somehow, some way, they all found individual outfits that fit them, sunglasses. They've all taken on their own little personalities. It's hysterical, and you're like, this is one of those. It's better not to worry about it. Like, how do they know how to rewire the streetlights? they're silly. And they're hilarious. One of them's wearing a trench coat and flashes Phoebe Cates. He's like, ah.
Well, there's that flash dance one. Yeah.
There's there's one. Yeah. And
the leg
Stripe's
warmers and the Leo.
A loaded gun that works and is firing at people.
Yeah.
Stripe is great. I think Stripe is he was the first to he was Gizmo's first one that popped out of his back.
Yeah.
And then I think there was, I think he said 5 or 6 of them that popped out. And but I think with all, and I wrote down a bunch of different things, but we don't need to cover all of them. There's one that looks like Ray Charles somehow. I don't know if that's just me, but I'm like, I don't know how they did that, and I don't know how to explain it exactly, but what
else you got? Do you have any more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Flashdance one. That's the one I wrote down that I laughed at. And there's that one in the corner, and he's having a scotch and like a cigarette, and he's just sunglasses, bah, 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 bah. And then that little one comes up with the puppet. They're just silly, It was just, but in the context of like when I was 10 years old and watching this, it was just funny and yeah, it was.
This
great.
was for the kids. The scene you're talking about, the scene in the bar where Phoebe Cates is serving them for some reason. She's still pouring drinks for them. I'm like, all right. Like, she's still working. They've taken over. They're destroying.
They got overhead. They got bills to pay.
This is the busiest night they've had in a while. At Dora's bar, I mean, there's nobody in here. Yeah, Phoebe is the only one that works at this bar apparently, and just in the evenings. And there she is. She's hustling. She's working, and then she realized maybe I don't need to. These guys are creeps. They're creeping me out. They're all smoking cigs.
Speaking of Phoebe Cates, let's talk about that speech.
Let's talk about the speech.
Yeah, let's get does it ruin the movie for you, or does it make it? Okay, tell me about it. Tell me what. Okay, tell me. Make the case.
So it's always been a point of contention for a lot of people. This is really what ruins it. It either makes or breaks a movie for a lot of people. And then we're talking. This discussion's been going on for 30 years. I used to think that this speech came in the first or second act of the movie and not where it lands in the movie, which is after after they, it's the kind of the night is kind of winding down. They've run amok. All the green ones have run amok. And then they come, and Kate and Billy come, reemerge, and there's nobody. Oh, the streets are empty. And she says something along the lines of about how it's Christmas. She's like, "Well, this gives me one more reason to hate Christmas." Wah, wah. It's definitely and then she goes on to tell this story that is ridiculous, but and it's ridiculous up until the very end. And I've always thought that this is a really weird way. This is why she hates Christmas, is because her dad on Christmas Eve, she and her mom were decorating a Christmas tree. Okay, and this I was like, wait a minute, they're decorating the tree on Christmas Eve. That's what they used to do. We talked about it in a Christmas story where they actually go out and get the tree on Christmas Eve, bring it home, decorate it. Kids go to bed. Parents stay up all night and put presents in because Santa Claus is coming to town. And so she and her mom are decorating, and Dad's still not home. And 5-6 days go by, and we can't. And she goes, "Well, then it gets cold in the house, so I light a fire, and then we smell a horrible smell." And then the fire department comes, and my father was trapped in the chimney with loaded up with presents, dressed as Santa Claus. He'd fallen down the chimney and broke his neck and died instantly. And I'm like, okay, first of all, what's going on? Is he wedged in the chimney? Did he fall all the way down it and break his neck immediately with his arms loaded full of presents? How big is this chimney? This chimney makes no sense. But at the end, she goes, and the whole point of the story, the punchline is, and that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus. And I went, what? Okay, not my dad's dead, but that's how she found out there was no Santa Claus. That's why she hates Christmas. And I'm like, okay, this is all about consumerism. The whole point of this whole thing is it's Dad's neither here nor there. These are where all the presents went, and there's no Santa Claus. That's what ruined her childhood. That's why she doesn't like Christmas anymore. And I went, now I get it. It's a horrible story, but it's exactly what this shine a light on consumerism and how it's getting way out of control. And you can take one little thing, but then it can multiply into a million monsters. And it's like any problem it's a metaphor for so many other things. But consumerism is one. If we don't stop and take a look at how much we're getting out of control and how material goods are taking over our, not the love of our family anymore. We just want more things, more toys. Right. We're going to lose sight of who we are, and we're going to metamorphosize into these monsters.
Damn.
And I went, now I don't hate that story anymore. She talks about not that her dad died, is that's how she found out there was no Santa Claus, because Santa Claus is more important than Dad.
That's I've never heard that, and that is awesome. You had me, because I feel like I'd never seen that in that. I just see that scene as like, oh, it's a sad story, and they planted it earlier in the film and then now she's telling you why, and it was horrible. It was like I felt like Gizmo when he goes, but I'd never heard that angle. That's great. I'm gonna give you one of these.
Oh, thanks. I was like, wait, because I've never what is what?
I never attached those two things. Yeah, it's fucking good. It's fucking
Thanks,
great.
Man. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's the infamous scene of this. The producers and even Spielberg didn't want that in the movie, but he defended Joe Dante's thing of like, no, this needs to be in here, and he's like, okay,
he insisted on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of cool to see that he had Joe Dante's back on this. And dude, this is the scene from what you were saying. This is the scene that tells you exactly what movie you're watching. If you're aware of those little things like that, that's excellent. Anyways, let's see, legacy in the sequels. I have a little thing about that, but I mean, we talked about a little bit of Gremlins 2. More, that's not so subtle. That's more of a dig on the what you were talking about. Turns everything up to 11. I don't know, what in your opinion, what do you like Gremlins 2? You said you haven't seen it, or you have seen it?
I don't think I've seen it. And there's a third one. There's a third one that's coming out in 2027.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's doing the deep dive on this. I was like, wow. And I heard about There was grumblings about that. I think last year at a con when they reunited everybody for this Gremlins, and
Okay.
he was like, "Yeah, if they're open to it, I'm open." Zach Galligan was saying he was interested in doing it, and so I thought, they all say that, but doing the deep dive for this, I found that out. I think that's interesting. A little legacy sequel. I mean, that's all the norm now, right? You take an old IP and you bring it back to life, like they did with Axel F. Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Coming to America too. So yeah.
Yeah, I've watched
You
both
got
of those
any?
ones.
Yeah,
I watched
yeah, yeah.
both of those ones. Okay, can I tell you the laugh out loud part is really when this one I texted you is when Mrs. Deagle, who sucks, right?
Yeah,
She's like the Scrooge of the town. And she's like somehow both the Ebenezer Scrooge and the Wicked Witch of the West like rolled into one person, and she sucks, right? The first person comes up to her on the street. She's walking across the street. She's got the snowman head, and she's going to
yeah,
storm into the
yeah.
bank where Billy's working. And she says,
Elbow away. Yeah,
she's pissed, and one of her tenants comes up. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Deagle, we're going to be a couple days late. And she's all, no, that's not my problem. Rent's due. The rent's due,
yeah.
motherfucker, and don't be falling down the step shit. And you're like, okay, we got it. She sucks. So we cut to her house when the Gremlins are taking over, and all the little stripes are taking over, and she's coming down. She's got one of those. This thing drives me up the fucking wall chairs, the ones that
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
glide
yeah, yeah.
down. You've seen, and those
Which
were on
yeah,
at the time. Those things were expensive, and she's got the big wrap around. So she comes
yeah.
gliding down. She's got all
Staircase.
her cats, and she hears carolers, and she opens it. She's like, "Ah, I hate carolers!" Rah! And she opens the door, and they're all out there, and they're like singing that songbook, and they're all dressed up, and they're and you're like, what? Yeah, which is funny. And so she needs to run. She runs away, and she hops on the chair, and it launches her. And I don't know why. The whole scene with her screaming, she gets launched out the window through and lands right then when the cops pull up. The cops, one of whom is Jonathan Banks, which is
Yeah,
crazy because it's
yeah,
fun to see Jonathan Banks in this role. You knew him from Beverly Hills Cop at the time. He was kind of just a bit character because he was, he was the henchman in Beverly Hills Cop. He's never anybody who's ever got a smile on his face, so that's why I like that he and the sheriff are drunk cops together, and they see Mrs. Deagle land in the snow. Mrs. Deagle dead. Good.
yeah.
We're like, good
DOA.
job. Yeah. Oh yeah. Good. She sucks.
Well,
Good.
Yeah, that was the whole thing of the whole premise of Gremlins, which was the whole British Army thing of when something goes wrong, it's probably a gremlin, like something, I don't know
Right.
the exact.
Yeah, Futterman talks about it, right? Because he's really into this whole everything he's complaining about. I mean, he's getting real close to launching into some he's talking about foreign auto parts. And by the way, I don't know if that's, keep in mind, in 1984, what he's talking about, there was a legitimate beef. The domestic vehicles were made, it's complete, talk about a 180. It's the total opposite now, where the foreign cars, you had to go to a different shop because they were all metric system, and so a lot of those shops didn't buy two sets of tools to work on cars. You had to take it to like a foreign shop, and a lot of that stuff was known for breaking down a lot and just not working very well, and that has completely changed. You ask any mechanic now, what cars do you never see in your shop, and they'll be like, well, we never see a Toyota, and we barely ever see a Honda. Now there's like, you buy a Ford right now, and we'll see you next week. So the domestic cars, the domestic manufacturers have a horrible
except for
reputation.
BMW. I heard that they're a bitch to fix and they break down a lot. But I've never really had one, so I can't.
That's why I just keep buying Toyotas, because I know every 17 years I need to buy a new car. Just get the oil changed, and so it's completely changed now. But he's got a legit beef at the time. That's pretty cliche actually for the time. But he's a drunk driving a snowplow around town. I do kind of like that drunk Mr. Plow guy. But can we also talk about? There's one thing I did want to mention, and that is because I was thinking about doing "It's a Wonderful Life" and why that's also a Christmas movie, and "It's a Wonderful Life" is on the TV Billy's mom's watching It's a Wonderful Life, and it's the scene where he's running down, "Come, Merry Christmas, oh, Merry Christmas," and Jimmy Stewart. Not to segue or do a tangent too bad, but that would you have any? Did you ever watch It's a Wonderful Life? And I don't. Do you? Okay. I don't know that it's as an important of a Christmas movie as it was at the time. It was on all the time in the 80s, so every year. Instead of now we have Home Alone that's on repeat for 24 hours and A Christmas Story. It used to be It's a Wonderful Life is on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that you see that, and we can talk about it maybe another year, but just how impactful that was for society at the time and why it was, came out in 1946. Jimmy Stewart just spent 4 years fighting in World War II, comes back, doesn't know that he can act, doesn't know if he's still got the chops. First role he does is he's in It's a Wonderful Life. It's what the world needed at the time, and the emotion that he plays that role is real emotion coming out, where he realizes, I still got it, and how one man can make a difference and that sort of thing. So I do like that It's a Wonderful Life is on there, because we haven't ever talked about that, and we should cover that movie. Maybe we'll do it next year during Christmas season. But anyway, thank you for that. I just did want to mention that we just been through World War II and needed a pick me up, and It's a Wonderful Life was that pick me up for 1946. It's good to see. It's good to see that on the. I forgot that there's little. Yeah. And the other movie that's playing is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And which is about a metamorphosis. And so, that was a little bit less subtle. They're seed pods.
They're coming for. I can't remember what he says, but what's your Clay Thompson of the movie?
I think it's going to be Jonathan Banks, and I'm really not sure why. I think he's just great because he's sitting at he's got his little toy gun. They're working on Christmas. I think it's Christmas Eve, or maybe it's the 23rd. And they're drunk on eggnog, and they're thinking it's a small town. There's not a lot for cops to do. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And they get a call that the Futtermans have been brutally murdered by their own snowplow. They got to get to work. And I just love that they go from little green men, little monsters up. And then they go and so I love Jonathan Banks in this. He's not in it very much.
Can you please get out of here, please? Because I'm really scared. I really love.
Yeah, he's really scared. You don't see him play this type of role ever. So it's silly to see him be silly. How about you? Who's your Clay Thompson?
I was going to say Judge Reinhold. He only has a couple parts, couple scenes. He's very swarmy. He's trying to pick up Kate. So, hey, man, I got my own place. We're talking cable TV. Well, how about we have some dinner? Just he played. I don't know. I never. I mean, I guess he gets market corrected by some other actor, but I don't know why he never got any bigger than the roles of the 80s. After the 80s, he's gone, basically. I don't know what he does. He doesn't do anything mainstream. Maybe he does some made for TV movies and some Skinamax type of flicks, but for the most part, he's just not around anymore. And he was huge. He was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He and Phoebe Cates together in that.
Yeah. And and then he does the sequels, Beverly Hills Cop, and then he just kind of fades away. So I don't know. I always like to bring him up, but that's my Clay Thompson.
So it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody, and for some reason, both Gerald, who's Judge Reinhold, and Billy at one point ask out what appears to be the only girl in town. This is the only 21-year-old female in this town. Everybody else is either old Mrs. Deagle or Billy's mom.
Yeah.
So I don't know, ladies, is there a whole lot for you in this movie? Because other than there's more gremlins dressed up as females than there are actual females in this movie.
They were watching some Monty Python, so they were like, "Oh, this is how we do it."
This has got, in this This is the same with A Christmas Story. I think the male directors, I don't know if they just don't realize they're just not hiring women for parts. Corey Feldman is in this movie. He doesn't need to be in this movie at all. What's he doing? He first of all, he shows up. He dressed as a Christmas tree and he walks right in. I'm like, is this Billy's brother? No. He just come, hey, I got your he's the one who spills the damn water on Gizmo and starts the whole thing.
Well, it is Pete's fault,
dude.
Yeah.
Pete, it's all fucking Pete's fault. God damn it! Now I'm pissed. Why is he in this movie?
Star power. They just needed
we needed a bowl cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think at that time, I think you just put people in movies that will be popular. And he was a kid actor, so it was a kid part. So they were like, let's maximize our potential here. I think that's my take on it, anyways.
If they were doing that, why Zach Galligan as Billy? At this point, he'd had 2 other acting credits. One was an ABC after-school special, and the other was a TV movie called Jacobo Timmerman. And the dude can't act. I'm sorry, but he can't. Billy and Phoebe Cates acting together is hard to watch, dude.
That's why he was cast, was because they had great chemistry, which I always thought they did. But he's a bit green behind the ears. I'll give you that, because there's a lot of some of the line readings that he does is really, I mean, it's earnest, but it's at the same time, like, I don't know, who would you think that would be better in that role at that time?
Well,
do you think like Tom Hanks, right? Or Kevin Bacon?
You listed off, Judd Nelson. What, I mean, you listed
that.
Who
that
else
would be
did you
interesting.
List off?
Yeah.
Judd Nelson just smoking
Emilio
cigs through the whole
Rob
thing.
Lowe,
Emilio Estevez,
Ralph
Rob
Macchio,
Lowe.
Tom Hanks, or Tom Tanks. I can't remember. I can't read my writing, but I mean, Judd Nelson. Yeah, that's my boy.
Judd Nelson. Yeah. Judd was never in enough stuff. He's everybody's favorite character from The Breakfast Club, and then does From the Hip, and then you don't see him again. Love Judd Nelson. Yeah. He's still around.
Yeah. Closing thoughts. What's your last final thoughts about this?
Let's see. Let's go down to the end of
Gremlins.
My notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so at the end, Grandpa shows back up at the house to collect the Mogwai.
Mm-hmm.
And he says,
but you didn't listen.
You didn't listen. And then he says, Billy's dad goes, before you go, I'd like to give you this. It's a smokeless ashtray.
Smokeless ashtray.
It's a smokeless ashtray. And he's like, oh, yes, the man at the gas station tried to sell me one. Oh, the newest technology.
Latest in technology. I'm sure we'll find a use for it.
Yeah, right. So he's great. I do love that. And then Dad's final thought comes over, and he's warning the audience about Gremlins. And he's like, make sure you look under the bed. Yeah. I liked how it leaves you with that. You're kind of left with a kind of ending where you're going to go home, and I'm sure plenty of people did this. From that point on, once you see Gremlins, you go home and you flick a light switch on in your house. And if the light flickers or anything like that, Gremlins. Gremlins. So with the themes, consumerism, the metamorphosis of a cute thing becoming a monster. We're seeing this now. This is a thing that is always good. You can always continue to do this. We've got 2 shows on right now that are the 2 most popular streaming series on television right now, and that's Welcome to Derry, which it's got how this entity can corrupt the easily corruptible are going to be corrupted, and you get that in Gremlins. This grandpa has had the Mogwai in safekeeping. He keeps it in his store, but the second the white guy gets his hands on it, just the most easily corruptible are going to be corrupted by this thing. And how can I make a buck off of this? In Stranger Things, you have Vecna, which is corrupting. I don't know if you watched the season 5, the first 4
not yet.
Episodes
the first one I have.
but,
I'm trying to watch the second episode now.
Okay, well, the spoiler alert, Vecna says the reason why he picks kids, he's picking kids. Okay, sorry. Never mind. It doesn't come as that big of a shock, but it makes sense. It's like, who are you
can't
going to
remember
corrupt?
what happened in the. Yeah, I can't remember. I was telling Scott the other day. It's like I forgot what happened in season 4.
Well, yeah, they're
so a lot of
taking
this
when
is
you
like,
take 3 years between seasons. Who's expected to remember all this?
Yeah. So
I was like, I
unless you
don't
want
think I
to
care. I
rewatch,
watched it.
and
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think
yeah,
it's very
cool.
well shot.
Yeah,
It's pleasing to the
yeah.
eye to look at. So those are my thoughts. I think it's a good warning. This is a year where, especially with how the economy is right now, and I think people's buying power is not what it was in 1984. So it's a good time to actually watch this and realize maybe we don't need all these things. I mean, he's got gizmos and gadgets all over the house. This thing's gonna do your orange juice juicer. He's got the coffee pot that makes mud. He's got, I mean, everywhere you look, he's got this fly swatter thing that he's making where it just spins fly swatters around.
Or the telephone. Hello.
Right. He's got the telephone. This is a year where as far as Christmas goes and gift giving, is not a lot of things that are getting wrapped up and put under trees this year. It's a lot of the gift of time. Concerts is a good gift too, that we're doing for the adults. The kids, I got a 5 and 10-year-old niece and nephew. I've got 24-year-old and 20-year-old niece and nephew. They just want cash. They're just straight cash. Just give me the cash. We'll be done with it, Tobe. All right, let's go get a beer. But I got, the 10 and the 5-year-old. They also don't really want much either. They're really, I don't know if this is, maybe it's just the way they were raised, but I don't think the kids really, really want a lot of stuff. But there's not a whole lot for me to wrap. There have been years where I've wrapped 40 presents and put them under the tree. This year, it's like,
Yeah.
we've got a stocking that I'm doing for Christina. So as far as like buying and consumerism, this is a good year to watch Gremlins, in my opinion, because buying all of these things and these mountain of gifts seems a little irresponsible unless you can afford it. And then more power
Yeah.
to you. But I don't think a lot of people are able to afford things like that. It's, we're kind of dealing with a lot. There's a lot of different angles, and money has a tendency to be tight. And we're not sure. So a lot of people aren't sure what they're going to be paying for health insurance come January 1st. So I think people are a little trepidatious about do I go out and spend this money that I may or may not have? So I don't want to get on my soapbox too much and point any fingers, but hey, this is may not be a year for a windfall of gifts. And if that's the case, don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up if you can't buy people a bunch of gifts like you're used to doing. It's okay. I think everybody will understand. So if you've got that guilty conscience, where I know some people out there that are like, I just feel bad, I'm usually this, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to approach people and say, I'm sorry, but what I'd like to do is spend the day with you as my present to you is my time. That's the most valuable commodity. So how about you? Do you have any thoughts on your final thoughts on how this resonates in 2025?
Well, I think that you covered a lot of the themes of the movie, at least, and I think that that's valid. I think for me, I just look more back on it more nostalgically, and this was a big part of my childhood. This movie, and not specifically this movie, but this type of movie was kind of the thing that dominated the theaters. I mean, I was a kid, so I wasn't really into the deeper stuff, although I think 86, 87 is when I started watching more adult themed movies. But at this point, I'm 10 years old. I'm still into the Ghostbusters. I'm still into, all these kind of movies that are dominating the theaters. So these, with this and Raiders of the Lost Ark that we did earlier in the year here, or earlier in the season, this just kind of it's just a childhood nostalgic trip back to my childhood, and when I watch these movies, it takes me back there, and it takes me back to like, wow, this was when I was watching this during the week. It was like, this movie is it what is it, influenced you in a way of like, it kind of invaded your life, and it or at least for me, and it made me realize like movies like this are so awesome, and you go and you have this theater experience with all these other people, and you're a kid and you get caught up in the silliness and the horror and the darkness and all this other kind of stuff. And so for me, it's a safe movie. It's a warm movie. So I love it. I kind of miss this type of movie where it's on film. Not that I'm not a film or digital purist at all, or film purist.
Okay.
But I would love to see movies now that play with shadow and play with light. And if they could do that digitally, I mean, yeah. So anyways, yeah, I
Right.
love this movie. It always have a special place in my heart. So that's
Yeah,
my
it's
final
got
thought.
that small town feel. It really comes through. It's got a kind of a Tim Burton feel to it almost, and
Yeah.
which is like a familiarity, or like, what is it about this that I feel like I've seen, but in it, like it feels, it's kind of got like a, I don't know, almost like an Edward Scissorhands kind of vibe in a certain way, where you've got the town, which is a backlot in downtown Los Angeles, essentially, and then you've got these models where the opening title card that you pointed out, and then the ending title card where it kind of floats above the town. It's got that
Yeah.
kind of, you almost feel like uh you almost feel like Beetlejuice is going to pop out of this model. I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's that
So,
practical effect. It's that
yeah.
practical effects. It's the paintings using for towns, or for scenes, for landscapes. It's
Okay.
the animatronics of the Gremlins.
Yeah.
It's this feel, because it's home. It's a small town feel. At the same time, you have this feel of like it's organic in some way. Like I always thought that those were real things when I was a kid. I thought those are
Totally.
real things that they made, but it invites you into that thing of like, that feeling of just back then everything was like that. Everything was, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep, but it's like I felt like back then everything was just more organic and more community felt stuff.
Analog.
Even in
It was,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, analog. There you go. That's a good word for it. There wasn't this gleam to everything.
Yes.
You had
It was,
noise in
yes.
the film grain,
Right.
it was just a time when that thing kind of evoked a lot of emotion, and now it's not the same now. But
It's a
it's
real
good.
pitch
It's
it.
just not the
It's a
same.
it's a real pitcher. You gotta put that boy in the pitcher, and now you can just pump these things out, or AI. I mean, good Lord. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, good call on that.
So
And Merry Christmas
yeah,
to you, good sir.
yeah. Merry Christmas to you. This is
Thank
our
you.
last podcast for the season. We're
Yeah.
going to be going on a little hiatus. I'll probably do a couple here and there,
Mhm.
probably in the new year. But other than that, I'll still have my other podcast, whatever this is called, with Scott Taylor, where we talk about a lot of these kind of things. Not so much one movie, but we're more of lists and drafts
Yeah.
and best Clint Eastwood movies and best Arnold Schwarzenegger, more pop culture kind of stuff. So hop on over. We'll still be going on that. What are you
If I
doing?
may,
You gonna enjoy what?
if I may, you guys,
Yeah,
in the episode that dropped yesterday, you guys were talking about Christmas episodes of shows, television shows, and I have
yeah.
one for you that I
Oh yeah,
listened to it and I enjoyed it. And I was always a Futurama Christmas episode. Loved when Santa Claus, played by John Goodman, was just opening
the
fire on
head.
everybody on the, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. But the rest of them, you guys touched on 100%. Benihana Christmas from The Office, got, of
yeah,
course. Yeah. So, yeah, check it out. Whatever this is called, it's a
yeah,
fun. It's a fun. You guys cover a lot of ground too, because it is
yeah,
not just one topic. It's a general topic, and then here's our top 10 favorite. Yeah, I dig it. It's
yeah.
good stuff. You and Scott are very good at it.
Yeah, and review. We do some reviews. We're doing review on
Yep.
dairy,
The
and
dairy
probably a
reviews.
year
Yep.
end of pluribus, which I think Toby. We're
Yeah.
gonna get Toby in on that one. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all. That's all of us. So that's part of the SteeGar Network. If you want to plug. hear that. But anyways, yeah, this is our last episode for the season. We're going to see you in the new year. And we love doing this. I think we've kind of turned a corner, right? And this season kind of gotten a little tighter. The flow's a little better. But let us know what your favorite things were about this movie, Gremlins. If you agree with this, if you have a hot take you want to share with us, that'd be fucking great. But other than that, man, we love the people that we've have listening and watching, and we'll see you again probably the new year. Any last thoughts on that, Tobias?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay safe and warm, and spend some time with your family if you have family, or the family that you've chosen, and just just really be merry and bright. So yeah, just wishing everybody nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best. Real tomato ketchup, Eddie.
You got it.
All right, cool. And with that, have a great Christmas and a happy New Year, and we'll see you next year. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.